ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्. So last time we saw those verses. In fact, the whole discussion was on meditation, the problems of that comes up in meditation, all that thing. Okay. So clear about all that, or there is any questions to be handled?
Swamiji?
Yeah.
So last time when we were talking about how to deal with ragas and veshas, and you said that Ishwar Arpan Prasad Buddhi is the way.
Yeah.
I was checking with you that can't one say that because all this is mithya and hence you consider it to be mithya and look at it as something which
Yeah.
is not permanent, temporary.
Yeah.
Can that not be a way of tackling?
Yeah, see, for Ragadvesha, the question is handling Ragadvesha. Because if you have a lot of Ragadveshas, then the knowledge, meditation, etc. becomes difficult. So, the one paradigm we use is the Karma Yoga paradigm. Why do we use the Karma Yoga paradigm? Because the Mithyatvam is not yet very clear. If Mithyatvam is very clear, then you are not going to have the Ragadvesha is not going to hold you. That is where the thing comes. If you are fairly clear, not even very clear, if you are fairly clear that things are Mithya, doesn't last. Aaj hai, kal nahi hai. Even the impermanence of the whole thing is very clear. And I have to let go of these things.
So maybe it is while this is all happening, the question is coming out of the process of...
Yeah, then why is it happening to me? Why me, this, that? Then you will need their Karma Yoga Buddhi.
No, I mean the question that I am able to look at it like that is probably a sign that I am probably able to see in that manner.
True. And to develop that Karma Yoga Buddhi, you need to have strong Bhakti. It is not the acts of Bhakti we are talking about. It is the attitude that you carry in your heart. Bhakti is here and here. Okay. Yeah. Your understanding of Ishvara and the emotional response to it. Acts of Bhakti are meant to have the emotional response clear. If you have that emotional response clear, no issues at all. Yeah. And that emotional response has to be available in the day-to-day world. Many people do lots of acts of bhakti. Hours they'll spend in puja, part, everything. But extension to life is pathetic. And what's the point? The whole thing. Some punya will come because of the puja part. That's all, nothing more than that. Which is good. You got some punya, fine, acha. Nobody is running down that. But what is the use of bhakti if it has not transformed you? If it has not made you more courageous in life, if it has not made you capable of handling the problems in life, if you can't have a sense of acceptance, if you can't look at everything as holy and divine, and it's not an emotional make-believe. Oh, everything's so nice. Forget all that nonsense. Very hardcore, pragmatic view. And an emotion that backs it up. That is what you need to do. Then once... some question? No. Then once the impermanent nature of things are clearer, it gets clearer. Mithyatvam. Mithyatvam, from just talking about it as dependent reality, this thing, etc. What you call impermanent. It has to go all the way to say the whole world is only a concept. It's only my perception of the reality like that. Okay. The Mithyatvam has to be as clear as the round in the flat earth. How it is so natural in your life. That requires some thinking, some analysis, some this. Yeah. And thing is, in your functional life, certain things are important. Okay. So you also need to deal with that. They are unreal but important. In my unreal life, how many of you can say that everything I am doing is unreal? Including this class and this teaching. It's important, but it's unreal. We'll come to that in this today's class. The whole thing is handled well. Yeah. It's important to come to that. Because remember, now you're not in the Gita. You're in Mandukya, Karika, okay? And that also the third chapter coming to an end. So to see, takes time, that's okay. But I can't be complacent about it, that's what I'm saying. So if you're mapping your life, cultivate a certain amount of bhakti, karma yoga, that's it. That becomes base, foundation. And then start looking at impermanence of things and limited nature of things. They may be important, but they're very limited. That's why when you're confronted with a problem, you'll always ask this question, how important will this be 10 years down the line? Probably not even remember it. Right now it looms very important. 10 years down the line, 5 years down the line. No, it's important. Okay, that's part of your priorities then. Then it becomes part of karma yoga. So, with those type of thinking, a cognitive change should reflect into your life. Otherwise, just verbal. Cognitive change means the way you look at a thing changes. When that is really changes, that means a cognitive shift has happened, an understanding shift has happened. It gets reflected in your life. Internal life may not be external, that's okay. In your internal life, it gets reflected. You can let go of a lot of things that you are holding on to. Still take care of things because they are important, okay, that's fine. But don't hold on to that. Oh, Swamiji, I decided I won't hold on to nothing. It should come from inside. No? Can you see how subtle it is, the whole process of understanding and living and thinking? That is why in Kathopanishad we said, no? Kshurasya dhara is like walking on a razor's edge. Yeah, it is a razor's edge. And that has to be clear because it's not simple things. That alertness, awarefulness, mindfulness has to come into things. And it is not a practice that you are doing. There are a lot of things you can practice awarefully, mindfully, etc. This is your whole life. You can bring, for example, a certain type of breathing into your life to make, like if you have, what's happening, suddenly went off. This is my internet connection being temperamental, okay? So उसको मनाना पड़ता है ना.
32912.
क्या करूँ, मिथ्या है, ऐसा होता करूँ.
1 minute. 2.
Anyway, so that's where the whole thing comes from. It is not like you're bringing a practice into your life. Like for example, if you have BP and you want to bring it into your bring down that BP, you'll practice a breathing which you will inhale from the nose and long exhale from the mouth. You can keep doing this throughout the day as many times as possible. Now that's a practice you're bringing into your life. It helps. All those who have BP, try it. It will help. Meaning high BP. When you say we have BP, everyone has blood pressure, okay? If you have low BP, don't try it, okay? So, this is a practice you're bringing into your life. What I'm talking is not like that. You have understood something, and because of that your whole focus has changed a bit. You understood the impermanence of things. Yeah, it's impermanent. So you're not looking for permanence there. You're not going to make it last beyond what it can. It's like the mother telling the son, "You'll always be my little boy." As though that's a big motherly love. High time to recognize he has become a Hulk, not your little boy. So, I mean, I'm giving you a gross example, okay? Yeah. It's a gross example, but that's what it is, yeah. So once you bring in about this change of things, then the knowledge flows through into your life. Every day the knowledge start getting clearer and clearer, and you start getting settled in that knowledge. That's all you need. So with that much, let us go ahead to see what the Karika Kara says. After having handled in 44 and 45 the problems that can normally come up in meditation, he says, Yada na liyate chittam na cha vikshapyate punaha anigantam anabhasam nishpannam brahma tattada. Yada na liyate chittam, the mind is not going into laya, sleep, etc. Nache vikshapyate punaha, nor does it wander around here and there, distracted. Okay. Ananganam ananantama manabhasam. Okay. Ananganam, motionless, not shifting here and there. Okay. The example in the Gita is what? For a mind like this.
The lamp, yatha deepo nivata.
Yatha deepo nivata. Yeah. Then anabhasam is not taking any form, meaning there are no other thinking. Aisa karega, vaisa karega, this thing, that thing, okay. Anabhasam. Okay. What is that? So the mind is not thinking in this or that. Anabhasam. And nishprapancham brahma tattada. That mind, because of the knowledge, remains one with Brahman. Mind is never separate from Brahman, but you don't recognize that. Now, because that knowledge is steady in your mind, and in the Dhyasana, you're bringing the knowledge into your mind. It is not just quietening your mind. So the mind that is full of this knowledge is what? Where? Settled into the Brahman that you are. Now what is there? There is no mind and Brahman. There is no meditator and meditation. There is only Brahman. One flame of consciousness, that's it. Natural, sahajam. Now, since I've used the word sahajam, let me add that here. There's a samadhi called sahaja samadhi. You must have heard of it. What is sahaja samadhi? Yatra yatra manoyati tatra tatra samadhaya. Wherever the mind goes, it does not move away from Brahman. This samadhi is the state of a wise person's mind. You may be thinking and acting and doing a lot of things, but it's never away from the fact you are Brahman. Like how you are doing a lot of things, but that you are a human being is base knowledge, no? At the back of your mind. Same way, I am Brahman is a knowledge. Then I go about doing things, playing the game of life. So sometimes that game can become very cruel or very tough. Yeah, that's okay. That's part of the game. Karma, part of the game. Mithya. Karma is there, but karma is equally mithya. Why? Because it was done by a mithya body and mind. So whatever you are practicing, that's all that is there. The mind rooted in Brahman. Okay? At the seat of meditation, how long? Until it becomes sahajam, natural for you. How long will you meditate? Until you don't need it anymore. Until you don't need it anymore. Who decides that? You do. Once the knowledge is natural for you. Yeah. Nobody else can do that. So you don't drop meditation. Let meditation drop from you. If you reach that condition, the natural condition of the mind. Nididhyasana, let it drop. It takes some time, okay? And say, Swamiji, I've done it for 2 years, now I can drop it. Okay? Drop and see what happens. You may find you have to go back to it after some time. It's like, sometimes I get a student, some of my students, they said that, because I was pushing them a bit. Because I felt so many years with me, they're not done enough. They're not really getting it, so I pushed them a bit. In one of the classes. And then a couple of people told me, Swamiji, we can't attend the class anymore, you're pushing us too much, but we'll follow through your videos and everything. I am sure, after a year or so, even that videos have stopped. लापता है किधर है पता भी नहीं. Even for some festival and occasions, I don't see their faces. Their intentions were good. Nididhyasanam can be for life, but what is the purpose of Nididhyasanam? To own up the knowledge. So once you feel you have owned it up enough, fine. When you are not carried away by the mind and the situations, where the knowledge is never out of sight, then it will drop from you. That's why until it drops, keep it going. And why I am saying keep it going? Because I don't want it to become a routine like brushing your teeth. In the beginning, it is good to include Nididhyasanam into your routine because you will do it. If you decide tomorrow I'll get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do Nididhyasanam, may work, may not work. But supposing you say, after my bath I will do it. Then whenever you are having a bath, after that you are going to do it. Why? It has got integrated into your routine. But many things you do into your routine becomes mechanical. So you have to be alert to see that Nididhyasanam is not mechanical. यार 20 मिनट है अभी मेडिटेट करो. आई एम कॉन्शियस. हो गया, चलो काम करो जाके. Because human mind can make anything mechanical. अरे टाइम नहीं है प्राणायाम करने का, हाँ हो गया चलो. That's not pranayama. So the idea is to see that the routineness is only to ensure that you will do it regularly, and you need to ensure that you don't make it mechanical. How long? Until you're rooted in this knowledge. You can still keep it going. You'll get more and more rooted. Fine. Let it become natural, sahajam. Yatra yatra mano yati, tatra tatra samadhaya. Wherever the mind goes, the mind is in this knowledge. So let it become natural like that. Until then, keep it going. What to do is becoming mechanical. Hey, japa becomes mechanical after some time.
I also have the same question.
Break it up. Break it up. Do something differently. Some order, etc. Shake it up a bit. Shake it up a bit. Change the time. So anything to make it conscious. Change the sequencing. Don't do certain things. Add certain things. Just to see that, hey, that was missed out. Yeah, that is missed out mechanical. I'm not making it mechanical. I'm deliberately cutting it off for today in this thing. Shift around a bit like that. Extend some things. Extend the japa dhyanam part, for example. Consciously, deliberate. See, the most difficult in any practice that you do is your impatience to finish it. Ho jayega na, then I can get into other things. That impatience is what one needs to break. So do whatever necessary to break that impatience. That's why you find when you're doing it in a group, you can do comfortably. When you're doing it in your own, you're in a hurry to finish it. To learn to be with something and just be there. That's a skill to be developed also. Just be. I mean, we all eat our meals also like that. Now we are in a hurry to finish it and go ahead with whatever. Unless you go to a restaurant with a friend, then you're sitting for 1 hour on it. Otherwise, 3 minutes meal is over. But you just gobble up something. Exercising the same. So the anxiety to finish, to complete it. And so just being with it, let it be. That's important. When you can let it be, things work out fine. Especially in things like meditation, etc. Or any other sadhana. Just think that you decided, I will chant this mantra 108 times. You have a mala also. It goes fast by Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. This is not slow, this is fast. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. It is fast, but at least it's deliberate. Yeah, you can make it Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. That is good. But what do we normally do? Mala to karme fire, jeeb fire mukh mahi. Manava to chaho disai fire. You all got it, na? Those who don't understand Hindi also very well. Yeah, Mala to karme fire. Mala is jeeb fire mukh mahi. The tongue is there and rolling out the words. Manavato chaho dusai. The mind is roaming all over. Yahato sumaran nahi. This is not contemplation. This is not meditation. This is not thinking of the Lord. Totally mechanical. So anything is like that. You need to be able to keep it back into this, to be with it. Just to be with it. It doesn't matter time frame. You may have only 10 minutes. But 10 minutes, are you there with the whole thing? You can have a 3-minute meditation. That 3 minutes, you are right into the depth of it. Fine. Okay, fine. Okay, yeah, that's the important thing there. Swastam Shantam Sanirvarnam Nirvarnakam Akatyam Sukhamuttamam Ajam Ajena Jayena Sarvatnam Parichakshate. Swastam. Swastam is a very interesting word. To be with yourself is called swastam. In Kerala, this is a very common term used. You meet a man, retired man, he retired for a year or so. Then you meet him on the road and say, man, what are you doing now? Swastam. Means he is not doing anything, okay? Menone, what are you doing? Swastam. Actually, it means to be with yourself, okay? Swasthane tishtati. Swastam. Yeah, in yourself you are swastam. And shantam. If you are with yourself, you are all peace. Yeah. Okay, shantam. Sanirvanam, okay? This is exactly what is called as nirvana. Buddhistic term, but Veda also uses it. Sanirvanam. This is nirvana. Mokshakhyam. Okay? Nirvanam akatyam sukhamuttamam. A sukha and ananda that cannot be described, really speaking. Because it is not experiential. An experiential ananda can be more or less described. This is not experiential. This is the ananda that you are, the fullness that you are. The closest you can come is words like this, fullness, etc. Akatyam, anirvanyam, akatyam, sukhamuttamam. Ajam ajena nyayate, nyayena sarvajñam parichakshate. Who knows it? Ajam ajena nyayate. What is the object of knowledge? Ajam Brahman, which is not conditioned by time and space, etc. etc. Who is the one knowing? Same Brahman, Atma, not conditioned by time, space, etc. Therefore, ajam ajena yayate. Are you getting it or not getting that part? Is there a subject-object dividing knowing yourself?
No.
So who is the knower? Brahman. Who is the known? Brahman. Ajam ajena nyayate. The unborn one is knowing the unborn one. Meaning the timeless is knowing the timeless. The limitless is knowing the limitless. Because the mind that is used to know is now, in the recognition of Brahman, resolved into Brahman itself. It does not stand apart from Brahman. It does not stand apart. It is Brahman. Yeah. If it stands apart, it is a different thing. But it is not standing apart. It is the same Brahman. So since the mind is not apart from Brahman, where is the knower apart from Brahman? In fact, in the cognition of it, the knower is resolved into Brahman itself. The mind is resolved into Brahman. Because these type of expressions are used, people will think resolving the mind is knowing the truth. No, the other way around. In appreciation of the truth, the mind is resolved. Resolving the mind is not creating knowledge. You resolve the mind, you do that every night and sleep anyway. Big deal. You don't get up in the morning and say, Anandoham, Anandoham, Asangoham. You don't say all that stuff. What do you say when you get up in the morning? Phone kidhar hai? Cup of coffee. What are you saying? Oh, she has become big. Yeah. My littlest student has become big.
You asked phone kidhar hai, that's why she was showing you the phone.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, great kid. Yeah. So, you don't resolve the mind and get into that. With knowledge, the mind is resolved. It's ulta. Resolution of the mind is not knowledge. But in the knowledge, the mind can get resolved. It's opposite. Entirely different. People misunderstanding it and thinking, resolve the mind. Kuch nahi hoega. Kuch nahi hoega. Years can go in samadhi practice. You'll become quiet, mastered mind, all that, fine. But the promised Ananda will not be anywhere there. Or you will say, in that state it is blissful.
I came to your house also that day, right?
Yeah, beta. So, in the appreciation of the truth alone, the whole thing matters. Yeah. It is not separate from that. Am I making sense in the whole thing? So be careful, don't get caught up in the other part of it. Okay? And we do. Now, and some teachers also present it that way. Sometimes deliberately. I've seen some teachers doing it deliberately just to get the people to start meditating. Oh, this is take you all the way to moksha, this, that, etc. So start meditating. Their intention is good, but it may put them on a lifelong chakkar, hoping for a sound and light show. And believe me, there can be sound and light shows in meditation. Now that also I have to address. Yeah. Because with each chakras, you are associating sound. And people chant the sound, thinking by chanting the sound, the chakra will open up. That is a very primitive way of doing it. You do the practices in such a manner that you will hear the sound internally and the chakra, the chakra is opened up. So as the energy passes up through the chakras, we hear it. But that's entirely a different type of thing. It's not Vedanta. It's yoga. It's Qigong. It is other things, meant for other things. It's not meant for moksha. So you're a high energy individual. You're a warrior, this, that, okay, fine, achai. Be that. This is good. It will keep you healthy and everything is strong. Yeah, unless you do it wrong, then it can destroy your health also. Yeah. Physical, mental, both. So you have to be very careful. So those are other things. Okay? Not for moksha. Why? Because there is karma. Manasam karma. So manasam karma result is what? Finite. Finite result. Whether it is physical or manasam, karma result is finite. Therefore you end up with finite results. Moksha will not happen. That's why they will say lifetime of practice is necessary. Postponing the whole thing. Making it an event. Doesn't work. For other things it works. For moksha it doesn't work. For other things it's great. Not for moksha. Moksha is preparing your mind. It is great sadhana to prepare your mind. Fine. But then after that, with that mind, know the truth. That cognitive shift has to happen. This is because there's so much of things happening in the society. So I have to mention all that. Okay. Kesastam shantam akhyam sukhamuttamam ajena ajanyayane sarvajñam parichakshate. This is also called sarvajñam. or the reality is called Sarvajnaha because it's the truth behind Ishvara also. Normally the term Sarvajnaha is used for Ishvara, but Brahman is the content of Ishvara anyway. The truth of Ishvara is Brahman. Ishvara is nothing but Brahman. Therefore, Sarvajnam Parichakshate. Yeah. That's why all the practices, they are all leading to a good mind, and with that mind you know the truth, and therefore that's a big difference in Vedanta and any other discipline. In Vedanta, you're owning up the knowledge in meditation. You're not trying to create new knowledge. In other systems, you're somehow trying to intuitively this, that, etc. know something or seeing what happens in your body and what happens in your mind and get some insights. This is completely different from that. This is when you are trying to own up the knowledge. Meditation in Vedanta is two things. Before a lot of studies has happened, it is preparation for the mind. Therefore, japa, dhyanam, etc. Up to that level. Once you know the truth, to an extent at least, you bring in nididhyasana, owning up the knowledge. Everything else meant for everything else. Yeah, they're valid systems. Yeah. Use it for whatever you want. The question when you're trying is, see, there's a vague thing about being spiritual. When you come to Vedanta, it is much more focused. You know exactly what you're in for. And that's important. That focus is important. Yeah. If I'm looking for the sense of limitlessness, no action is going to get me there. I have to know I am limitless. Ignorance is the problem, knowledge is the solution. And the problem comes that many listen to Vedanta without being fully prepared. Therefore, after some time you start getting disillusioned, not working. Of course you will get disillusioned because you are not taken care of this. You are not worked on yourself. If you are not worked on yourself and you are trying to know the truth, how do you expect it to flow into your life? The system is clear. Take care of that mind. Samatvam yogam uchyate. Karmasu kaushanam, all that. So the ethical principles, all of it comes in. Viveka vairagya ashat sampatti mamukshutvam. That also comes into it. After that, see whether it's not working. Okay. Then with that we come to another one. Let's see. न कश्चित् जायते जीवः संभवो अस्य न विद्यते एतद् उत्तमं सत्यं यत्र किंचित् न जायते न कश्चित् जीवः जायते. There is no jiva that is born anywhere. Why? Jiva is a mithya entity. What is there is nothing but Brahman. Jivo Brahma eva, na apara. Jiva is Brahman. Then where is jivatvam? A wrong conclusion born of ignorance. That I am a mortal, I am a human being is a wrong conclusion born of self-ignorance, self-judgment. Any notion I have about myself other than the fact I am limitless consciousness is a self-judgment born of ignorance. You have taken the role to be the real. Just a role. Yeah. But Swamiji, my whole identity comes from the role. That's the problem. Because you don't know what you are creating a false identity in the whole thing. See what's happening in your minds. You are retired from the role, but you are still holding on to the role. I remember asking someone, retired, for 5 years. What was your field? I asked the field. The guy gives me his designation. Oh, I was CEO. 5 साल हो गया, CEO गया. I'm asking you that field you were in. HR, finance. What was your field? You're giving me your rank. That tells me a lot, isn't it? Too much of holding on to things. Too much of holding on. I'm a serious seeker. मैं full time हो गया अभी. I used to joke when my batchmates were, hey, what are you doing here? I heard you left this India. Yeah. What are you doing now? Yeah, loafing around here. Those guys are not going to understand it. It took them 40 years to understand what I am doing. Now some of them are coming back to see what I am doing and all that stuff. And the first thing they did is include me into their WhatsApp group. ठीक है, ऐसे get to see a lot of nonsense. अच्छा है. Interesting nonsense. And some interesting stuff also. And some stuff I can't share with anyone. So those days I used to say, what are you, I'm just loafing around. क्या बोलेगा? हम serious seeker हो. क्या serious seeker है? What are you seeking? You're seeking yourself. Yeah. What type of seeking is that? Really? तू है ना इधर? हाँ है. Then what are you seeking? I'm seeking the truth. You want the truth? Can you handle the truth? Jack Nicholson. Most people can't handle. Everything you're doing is false. Samjhi, how can you say that? What I do is so important. Are you getting the idea? Na kinchit jayate. Na kinchit jivaha jayate. Sambhavo asya na vidyate. And the reality doesn't come into existence, always there. Neither is a jiva born nor is a reality born. That means what? All there is only one reality, nothing else. Okay. Etad uttamam satyam. This is the highest reality. What is that? Yatra kinchit na jayate. Where nothing comes into being. Nothing is born. Nothing is transformed. Nothing is created. Huh? Nothing is created. You're saying something, Punjabi Christian?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Swamiji,
Yeah.
it looks like this is the answer to the Taittiriya Upanishad question.
Yeah.
Atot prashnaha
Yeah.
uda vidwan madum lokam pretya.
Yeah, there it's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, rhetorical.
There's a
Because
rhetorical
it doesn't give an answer at all after that.
Yeah,
It
you
just
can
bypasses
look at it.
goes away.
But there also the same thing is understood. Question jayate means where is there to anything to be known? Where anything to be known, etc. So there's rhetorical. Same thing is implied. Yeah. The question is not left unanswered there. It's a rhetorical.
He gives a different answer. That
Yeah,
is
because
asal
if you
Bhavati.
once again, if you take it as this is an answer to that, that means that is incomplete, which is not true. Each Upanishad is complete by itself.
Yeah, can I take it that the question itself is
The
meaningless
question
or
is,
rhetoric?
that's what I'm saying, the question is rhetorical.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I say.
the question is rhetorical. Yeah. Not incompleteness, rhetorical. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So there is where it is. This is the reality. Now what? और क्या? और कुछ बात नहीं है. Because when you are studying an Upanishad, there will be cross ideas like this. This is a good thing to recognize that. But you also have to recognize that each Upanishad is complete by itself. Otherwise, you'll be like this champion whom I heard in one of the forums I was there. Beautiful analysis of Taittiriya, of the Panchakoshas. Very beautiful. I enjoyed listening to that. Until it comes to Anandamaya Kosha. The analysis of the Anandamaya Kosha also is good. After that, he says the Upanishad is silent here. To understand that, you have to go to Kato Upanishad. Kansadhiraha avruta chakshuhu atmanamaiksha. That means Taittiriya is incomplete. Taittiriya is one of the most important Upanishads. And you are saying that is incomplete and going to Kato Upanishad to make Taittiriya clear? You can quote relevant things from different places to highlight the same thing. In fact, in Taittiriya, it is not, the Upanishad is not silent there. Brahmapucham pratishtaha, very clear. It is eloquently saying, revealing the reality. So everything I was appreciating about the thing went fuss. What is this nonsense? Very nicely he was building up. I enjoyed it. After that it went for a complete toss. Very popular one. Monk on top of it. And he listens to Paramarthananda's and my videos also on top of it. Still he comes to it. Why? Because he cannot let go of the organizational identity. Because it's an organizational thing, you are supposed to say some things. That organizational identity he cannot let go. Hey, you work for an organization, you build up an organization, you follow its principles, is that fine? And teaching be different. Teaching be authentic. There's no problem in that. But people don't. They compromise because the organization controls the teaching also sometimes. That's the most tragic thing of organizational realities. Most tragic thing is that. Yeah. That's why all of us worked out. You have certain rules, regulations of what to do, how to live, etc. That's a different thing. That type of an organization identity is not a problem. But if you are telling me what to think and what to say, that forget it. Teaching is with the teachers, not with the organization. So that was his problem. So like this, why I am saying all this? Because I need people to be aware of what's happening in your own minds. Even though we can say Arsha Vidya, Sampradaya, etc. Yeah, that's why we called it Arsha Vidya. Why? It's a Sampradaya of the Rishis, not ours. There's no personality here. Yeah, the Rishis, the knowledge of the Rishis. And who gave the knowledge to the Rishis? Ishvara himself. Yeah. So, there is no organizational stand that we have to take. Organizational identity not there because no organization. It's only networking of individuals. So, in these type, you need that intellectual independence when you're studying Vedanta. Intellectual and emotional independence become necessary. Otherwise, you'll be caught up in some role or the other, and that will completely block you from knowing the truth. It may be an experience, it may be a grief you have gone through, it may be a joyful thing that you're holding on to. Look at it, be careful. I'm not saying go and become a sannyasi. Then you can hold on to that also. The role of sannyasi, Maharaj. How many of the people who say I'm a Maharaj, you can say I'm a Fakkad from the Himalayas living in a Nukkad in Bombay. समझिए क्या बात कर रहे हैं ऐसा है ना फक्कड़ ही है. So to be able to drop this identity, you can play the role. Okay. And sometimes some of these identities etc. opens doors for you, which is good. अच्छा ही है. That's good, no issues. Some award, some title, something. If it opens doors and you can reach out and help more people, that's good. But you don't be conditioned by them. That's the idea. That's the idea. Like doing a doctorate. Academic doors open. You can do something, bring in traditional knowledge to the academy. Excellent. But you don't put in your title, Dr. Swami P.P. Anand. I met a character like that. Swami Paripurna Ananda. There's some akhada and he has done his doctorate. So Dr. Swami P.P. Anand. This is like our nicknames we call each other with. You can't put it on a visiting card and give it to someone. Because you're getting caught up and all that. Yeah. So get this whole thing clear. If this is there, then the whole thing not a problem. Okay? Na kinchana jayate, this is the highest. So with this, the third chapter comes to an end. Advaita Prakarana. अभी क्या है चलो अद्वैत after that what there's one more chapter left. It is called Alata Shanti. Okay. Literally the example comes from your Diwali sparklers. In your kids' room, you used to have the sparklers and then you will rave it around, create illusion of circles and figure of eights and all that stuff. What is it? 1 point. But spandanam happens. An illusion of names and forms. So what is Alata Shanti? This spandanam, you are conceptualizing etc. Shanti. So that is all resolved into the self that you are. Yeah. Where do the forms disappear? When the alata stops shaking. Into the alata itself, where will it disappear? Forms were just an illusion created by the waving of the alata. So still the alata. Now that stilling is not just mere experiential. It can also be conceptual. Therefore, all this part of it, for he's already handled it before, but he's emphasizing it in the 4th chapter. Alata Shanti Prakaranam it's called. And it's important enough for him to actually write a prayer verse of invocation before he starts. Okay? Even though you don't have to. Why? Prayer verse invocation beginning mein kiya hai na. But there is no rule. It can't be there in the middle. The tradition says can be in the beginning, it can be in the end, it can be in the middle, it can be in all 3 places also. So to highlight the importance of this section, Alata Shanti, he does that. And I think there are some, it's quite an elaborate chapter, about 100 verses are there. Yeah.
100 verses.
Yeah. About 100 verses are there for this Alata Shanti. It's a great section of it, which we'll see in the next class onwards. But with this, our Upanishads are coming to an end. Okay? So after Alata Shanti, I was thinking of doing Vedanta Sara, which will give you a global view of all of Vedanta. Okay? Then, if enough people survive, maybe I can do Brahma Sutras also. But that will be purely online, and that's not a very happy thing for me to have Brahma Sutras only online. So at least once a month we'll have to meet somewhere for a discussion, this, that, etc. At least those people who are in Bombay. Yeah. Others I can see them in the camp and things like that also. Okay. Yeah. So you'll see how to work it out. But Alata Shanti first 100 verses will take how many? About 30 classes. Okay. 30 classes, 25 classes it will take. That means about 6 months. Okay.
Then we can meet in Chakramatam.
Wherever, but Shankaramatam recording is not possible. It's pathetic, that hall. Nothing can be recorded in that hall. We will see how to work out. Shankaramatam is a good place to meet once a month. And if there are enough people in town who would like to come, maybe once a month I can be there also. I am willing to travel, that's okay. But another question is, I want to put it up. Since there are a lot of people who don't have much exposure to the Shastra also, I thought I will do purely online, of course, unless someone wants to come land up at my place, a text called Panchadashi. Would you all be interested in that? It's a long text. It will take 5 years. Once a week. Okay, I'm thinking of it. In fact, this is the first text I taught in my Laburnum Road class, because in the first batch that I had there, everyone of them are already attending Shuddha Buddhananji's class. So I said, let me do something different. Yeah. So let me see. But that will be a separate day, okay? It will not. This class I want to keep going straight until the Brahma Sutras are over. Thursday. Friday class. Okay? That will have to be on a Tuesday or something like that. Okay? So let me see. It won't be immediate. I want to sort of. Yeah.
Brahma Sutra can be online?
Yeah, online. Of course it will be. It will be both online and hybrid, yeah.
Swamiji, Panchadashi is a marvelous text.
I know it's a marvelous text. Let me see. You'll see that. Oh, that's a good place to stop.